Hello, hello, good morning, everybody, and good evening, most of everybody. How's everyone doing? We've had quite a crazy week. A lot's been going on the past few days. Are we at World War III? That is the big question. Maybe, maybe not. You can see the market has been reacting quite aggressively to it. We've had some really nice moves going on. I definitely found an opportunity over here, so I had a buy limit order placed right over here at this imbalance over here. And we're looking at it on a 4-hour time frame. And as you guys can see, I'm already up $2,700 right now. And I'm planning on holding this for quite some time with my target right above the consolidation zone. Only because, you know, when war breaks out, usually what it does is it creates a lot of question marks. People aren't sure where price is going. The technicals do stay intact. Nothing changes with the technicals. However, price does start reacting towards what's going on to the global events. And as you can see, this candle over here was initially when the war started with Iran and its rivals. So that being said, it came down and it's done a clean liquidity sweep. I had a small stop loss right below this wick, which I was willing to lose if it was, going to go beyond that. I was very comfortable with it because it was a sizable stop loss. And instead, price came down. It actually respected the imbalance perfectly, and I doubled down. And that since then, price has gone up. It did reach to a point where there is relative equal highs, and it's possibly going to be retracing a little bit since there is a massive imbalance over here. So it's probably going to retrace over here, probably even come back to my entry before it starts aiming higher. But for now, it looks pretty good. Price is fully intact in a bullish structure. Overall bullish, still consolidated, but we are overall bullish on Bitcoin. Now let's take a look at that on TradingView. All right. Let's see. Let me just have TradingView all set up. Hey. Let's close this. Let's keep this open. Okay. So, let's take a look. Okay. So, what is going on in the markets today? So, let's get out of the Forex and let's actually get straight into Bitcoin because I need to change some of these lines. We'll make some changes. So let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of that. Price has exactly entered precisely where we left off last week, guys. As I mentioned earlier, we are in a 4-hour bullish run. Price is aiming to go higher, and price is currently rebalancing the demand zone at 63,000, which is exactly what it did. And that is precisely where I entered, as you saw on my trading platform. As you can see right there, you can see the buy just below. And from there, you can see that price has actually gone higher. It's still kind of showing that it's in consolidation, but All right, just getting back to some people on the Discord. So here's what's happening. We've been in consolidation for quite some time that we've been talking about for a couple of weeks. Price was bearish and we've reached down into a consolidated area, and it did create an area of interest because if you go back all the way, you're going to see that the last time prices come down here, there was a lot of retracements. Prices come down into this area, there's a lot of money being moved around over here. It's constantly shuffling. And since price is constantly shuffling, this is a precise area where price came down to. And as you can see, this was pre-drawn. You can find that in my videos that I've made earlier. And price came down, completely respected it, and then a lower high was taken out, and then we've had a bullish structure ever since. Now, interestingly enough, let's get rid of this outside box, the outline. The border, let's remove that completely. So that being said, you can see prices actually come back into the consolidation box, and then it's taken out the lower high and it failed to go higher. And since then, you would say that the only place excuse me, the only place of interest that I find that price needs to go higher from, it is the 71,861 point. At that point, it is exactly where I would say Bitcoin is bullish for the long run. If Bitcoin takes out this particular high, which is the most important high where all the professional traders are looking at, this level over here, 71.861, is where if price goes and takes that high, it is going to be bullish up to 100K, 200K, 300K, wherever it is going. But that's the level that it needs to take out. Because ever since then, price has completely consolidated. And even though it's dumped several times and it's shifted, it's done like an internal market structure, it was quickly reversed with inverse fair value gaps. It gets filled over once over here, and a second time over here, and a third time over here. Where was it? Right here. So price keeps reversing and it keeps going higher. So that means that the buyers are completely in control and the sellers are losing their control. The sellers aren't out of the game yet because we are still back inside the consolidation zone. However, the sellers are definitely in control. So let's extend this box to the right. We need to stretch that out. Let me unlock it. We can have a clearer view. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this just so we can see the price in a little bit of a cleaner manner. Let's stretch this out and then stretch this out as well. Seems like it's an interesting level. Why would I say it's interesting? Simply because price, it's the short-term high, right? This is where price started dumping completely. And then when price started dumping completely, it's done a internal market structure shift, which has become bearish. Temporarily though, nothing permanently. Hey Oriane, how are you doing? So it's temporarily gone down, and then from here you can see that there was a nice relative equal low, and that relative equal low gave me the confirmation that the sellers are no longer in control of the market and the buyers are actually looking to push the price higher. It's already oversold. We already know this. It's completely oversold. So it's about time price needs to go higher. And also, not only is it oversold, this is the longest consolidation I've seen. I mean, this technically here is a bit of a consolidation, but there were big moves being made. Over here, this is a consolidation of around 2 weeks. Let's see, it was from December 15 up until January 1st. But you know what else was happening in December 15 and January 1st? It wasn't a normal seasonal market liquidity period. I mean, liquidity comes in at the right time, and we've talked about this in the free courses. Liquidity doesn't just come every day. It comes at a particular time. Now, what was going on between December 15 all the way to January 1st? People were not trading. People were on holidays. Families were in Bermuda. People were sitting on the beach or sitting in the snow, depending where you are. But people are actually spending time with their family because that's what people do during Christmas and the holidays. So when that happens, price does not move. So it's this consolidation zone here, it doesn't exactly count. So if we completely X out this area, you're going to see price is actually pretty liquid. So here, price isn't very liquid. You can see that it's completely trapped in this box. So with that being said, we have completely respected the relative equal low. And since then, price has created an imbalance after taking out this 4-hour lower high. That lower high, I've been talking about it so much for the past week because this lower high is very significant. It is what happens when price has done a respection, like a price respected the lower, like the relative equal low over here, and then it's grabbed liquidity, and then it's gone and created a displacement candle that took out the lower high. So, you with me so far? So, now that it's taken out this lower high and left a 4-hour imbalance, and price started going aggressively higher, I'm pretty sure a lot of people missed this move. No one panicked. For the professional traders, no one panicked, and they took a chill pill, right? They just sat down and they did not do anything. They holstered their weapons and they just relaxed. From there, an imbalance gets created, which is where I had my point of interest. That is particularly where I said to myself, price needs to go down there. I'm not doing anything. I'm not lifting a finger until price goes over there. Let me just adjust the background. Got it at 21. All right. There we go. Now it looks a lot more clear. So that being said, an imbalance gets created, which is precisely where I left my entry. That imbalance is exactly where I had my eyes. I mean, if price comes down over there, I'm in the trade. If price doesn't go down there, I'm not in the trade. And I don't sit and think too much about it. It's just that simple, which is why I went ahead and had an entry over here. So that being said, price has done a very nice job filling that imbalance completely in the way that I wanted it to be. And it's gone down, filled it, and it's actually gone higher ever since. So that being said, I'm very satisfied with my trade. I'm probably going to be taking partials right when it comes down to the 50% over here. If price comes down and if it goes past the 50% of this imbalance over here, that is precisely where I'll be taking my partials. If it doesn't go and it respects over here, I'll be adding to my trade and letting it scale even higher. And keep in mind, I'm only using 2% of my portfolio. Only 2%, right there. Only risking 2%, and I'm already up a whopping $2,700. All right. Okay, so coming back to trading view, we can already see that price is coming down for a retracement, but it's pretty much intact to this bullish structure. And you can see some rejections here and there, but I wouldn't be too concerned about it. It needs to fill the imbalances. There's a lot of imbalances that needs to be filled out on the 15-minute time frame, on the 5-minute time frame. In the 5 minutes, you can literally find more than 5 imbalances. Not to mention, if you go on the 1-minute time frame, you'll definitely see unlimited amounts of imbalances. So price had an aggressive spike since, as I mentioned earlier, the stock market is something where a lot of people are probably going to be aiming lower. Now, since people are trying to aim lower for the stock market, who is to say that they can't invest on Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin, interestingly enough, if you find that it's not hard, Ariane, to find the right entry. You find the right entry based on imbalances. Go on the 4-hour time frame and find the imbalances that show up before you. And also on a 1 hour time frame, you could see that there's quite some imbalances which gets filled out immediately. This imbalance over here is precisely where I entered. And because I've entered right over there, you could see that it was a very clean move. Even though price gone down pretty aggressively, I've already predetermined my risk. I'll show you how it looks like. So over here, you could see that the imbalance that was created over here, simply from here to here, I had my interest over there because a lower high was taken out, which gets taken out over here by this candle. And since that lower high was taken out, price has pushed up. It's taken out 1, it's taken out 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 lower highs. That is the cleanest of the cleanest confirmations. And because it's done that, I don't feel the need to worry or stress that, is this the right trade? Is this the bad trade? You don't need to stress about the possibilities of your trade when you just stick to these simple rules. Clear market structure shift, clear lower highs were taken out, the downtrend has ended, relative equal lows, because if we go back over here, you could see price has gone back to this exact level. And that's it. This imbalance immediately gets filled. And since then, price has gone up. That's it. I could literally close my trade right now and be happy with 2,800, or take partials and close half and take 1,400. Or what I'm trying to do over here, because I have a strong belief that price is probably going to go to 100K. And since price is probably going to go to 100K, I plan on actually holding this trade for as long as possible. I'm more than comfortable to let this trade go down to my stop loss is literally my break even. My break even is at $37 profits. I'm not too bothered by it. I'm more concerned if Bitcoin is going to reverse and go even lower, because in times of war, if you look at when the Russia-Ukraine war started, Bitcoin completely dumped. If you look at the time when the 12-day war happened last year between the Middle Eastern countries, also Bitcoin completely dumped. Why does it dump? It's simple. Bitcoin isn't a risk asset. It's not a safe haven. Not yet. Not yet. But interestingly enough, this candle right here is precisely when war broke out. This candle over here is precisely exactly in this 4-hour time frame is exactly where war broke out. And what do you see happening? Price came down, it dumped, which is what a lot of people are used to. But what did it do instead? It didn't go lower. It got rejected. It respected it. It went straight to the imbalance. And from that imbalance, it's gone straight up. It is not a risk, like a risk asset. People do not invest in Bitcoin when there's war. However, what I'm seeing is probably the first time in Bitcoin history where price actually respected not going lower. It just went and filled the imbalance. That's it. It filled the imbalance and it's gone aggressively even higher. Is this going to be the first time that Bitcoin has become a risk asset? I don't know. But then again, what are investors feeling? They feel like it's like a lot of investors, you're right, I absolutely agree with you. Many investors or many people are saying it'll drop to 50K this year because Bitcoin is not a risk asset. Bitcoin is still fairly new compared to gold. Gold has always been a risk asset. When war started, Bitcoin has skyrocketed. It has completely gone and doubled down and gone much higher. Now, gold is a known asset to keep doing that. Gold and silver, precisely gold. We already know this. But the problem with that is that the gold was not consolidating. Price of gold was not just ranging and then it went higher. It's already at an all-time high. And the stock market is already at an all-time high. And when the war happens, gold goes higher and the stock market crashes. Did the stock market crash? It kind of did, but then it quickly retraced. However, price of the stock market is eventually going to crash. When that happens, Bitcoin will go higher. Only because of these two reasons. Gold is at an all-time high and the stock market is at an all-time high. Now, when you have these two at the all-time high, Bitcoin is at the all-time, I mean, it's not the all-time low, obviously, because the all-time low would be 0, but it is really far down. It is at the 50% point. It is at the 50% point. So from 0 to $125,000 to where it's at right now, which is in the range of 69,000, 68,000, 65,000. It's at the 50% point. So if we had a overall single candle, okay, from when Bitcoin initially opened up until where it's gotten its highest, the candle is at the 50% point. And as you know, price always reacts pretty aggressively at the 50% point. Pretty aggressively. It could go higher, it could go lower. Now, I believe it's going to go higher because you can clearly see that. I mean, look at this. It's a very interesting move. This is like a historical move. People will talk about this. Price has come down when war broke out, and it did not go lower. It was shocking. It was surprising when I saw the planes were attacking, you know, the Middle Eastern countries, all the things that's going on in the Middle East. I looked at the chart and I knew before opening Bitcoin that price was going to go lower. I just knew it. I had a feeling. I looked at the chart and I said, it is definitely going to go lower. Instead, it went lower, it swept liquidity, it filled the imbalance, and went higher. So this is a first. This is a first. It's a clear indication that Bitcoin is probably going to go up to 200K. It's a clear indication that investors feel comfortable knowing that even in times of war, price did not hesitate. It did not struggle. It did not flop. It actually respected the structure and it flipped bullish. So that is a very, very healthy sign for Bitcoin. Very healthy sign. It's actually remarkable. It's remarkable what has happened to Bitcoin. So right now, I'm expecting a retracement, price to come back down into the 1 hour fair value gap. And from there, I'm expecting even bigger moves. Because honestly, guys, it's quite some time we've been in this consolidation box. And I think it's time for price to get out of here. So yeah, forgive me guys, I got a bit of a cold, so I'm trying to bear with me over here. Hopefully you guys don't actually get the flu through the internet through me, because that would be pretty funny, wouldn't it be? So that's what's going on with Bitcoin. Now let's take a look at gold. Also, Ethereum is respecting the same levels as Bitcoin. I mean, it was in consolidation over here and it broke lower. It came all the way down here. It resisted this lower high. Remember, the lower highs that gets taken out is very important because as you can see over here on Ethereum, price actually came out, took this lower high, and this is where the bullish structure started. Now, interesting enough, it came down all the way to the lower high that was taken out, and you can clearly see that price respects it to the T. Respects it with the T, like a capital T. It reached there perfectly and it's done a little tiny liquidity sweep. Tiny, it's nothing significant. And then, ever since then, you can see price has gone higher. It's gone aggressively higher. So it is overall bullish, my friends. All right, it is considered, I mean, we can actually remove this consolidation box. We can actually safely remove it. We can safely remove it and actually just stretch out this resistance level. When you stretch out this resistance level, you can see a little bit more clearly. All right, there we go. I'll just put the line above it. There we go. So that is all you need to see for Ethereum, and also the demand zone got filled. A lot of orders came in. As you can see, price came down, filled the orders, and then voila, it just took off. So Ethereum, pretty clean price action, I must say. All right, now let's take a look at gold. Gold has had quite some significant moves. This is what happens when you trade. We were last time we were here, we were talking about trading inside the consolidation box. And that's why I said no trading zone. Someone asked me last time, why don't we enter a trade over here? And I said, if you enter a trade over here, You can set your stops over here and target the lows. However, I wouldn't trade inside the consolidation box. So consolidation box is gone. We could see that price actually left a massive gap. This gap happened because of the war. When price left the consolidation box, it actually aimed higher, as you can see over here. This was a rejection, but it did not fail to hold, so price kept going higher. And then this gap is over the weekend. War broke out on Saturday. Countries were attacking each other. People were hurting each other. It was not a good sight to see in the news. It was actually very disappointing. I was not happy to see any of that happening. But you could see that a massive gap has come up and price has come down. Not once, but multiple times. You could see it happening here, and it's all happening on a lower time frame. Very clearly, you can see price just came down. It filled the gap pretty aggressively. Done a little sweep, and interestingly enough, it also filled a 5-minute imbalance. Because why not, right? I mean, it might as well. It's filled the imbalance, done a little tiny sweep, and price has gone higher since then. Is gold aiming to go lower? It's hard to say. It's hard to say because on Saturday and Sunday, there have been quite some heavy exchanges between the rival nations in the Middle East. It's all over the news. If you guys are wondering what countries it's in the news, you can clearly see it. But it's been quite a heavy exchange going on over the weekend. But then come Monday, I don't know. Either people are just reloading their ammunition, which is probably the case, or people are probably in open dialogue because they realized how ugly it's getting. And a lot of regional countries are complaining about it. They said it's no good. War is not going to fix anything. So I'm guessing that's probably the case. But it's been pretty quiet. It's been pretty stable. But let's just hope that stability, keeps on going. Because for me, as I told you guys earlier before, I was always hoping for gold to go lower. Why? Because I do want to buy some fancy gold bars someday. I don't want to buy gold at the all-time high because it really is at an all-time high. I would only be happy to be buying gold bars when it's heading towards the all-time low. And we're looking at it on a daily time frame. You could see how high gold has gone up. If it goes down all the way to at least somewhere in the 3,000 range, that's where I'm looking to buy some gold bars. And I'll be a pirate and I'll start saying, "Arr." But in the time being, price is going higher and there's not much we can do about that. So let's clean up the chart. Yep, let's clean up the chart together. Consolidation box, gone. This tiny level over here, gone. The 4-hour short-term low. Thought I heard something. The 4-hour short-term low gets filled over there. I mean, we could keep that. Price could come down to it. The higher high over here is important. This is a level where price is definitely going to come back to. All right, so we could see a bullish structure, bearish structure a little bit over here. I want to see where price broke. So you can see here. So this is precisely the level. Lower high taken out. Okay, so this lower high taken out is very likely where price is going to come back to. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to be adding just this over here. All right. Placing the stops underneath the demand zone and just aiming higher. We'll get to that later, but this is for the time being just an idea. It's an idea, a long-term idea. This could take weeks to get to. Weeks. If there is some sort of peace, if there's some sort of stability, then price is going to go down. But if there is no peace and if there's no stability, then price is going to go higher. But I'm expecting some sort of peace and stability because it's been quite some time, guys. It's been quite a aggressive past few days. And nobody wants that. So price has gone higher. It's left the consolidated area and it hasn't touched this lower high, but that is where it's heading. Absolutely where it's heading. Price is definitely going to touch that level. That's the target. That's where it's aiming, and that's where it's trying to head towards. It's the only healthy sign that it's bullish is the fact that price filled this empty gap. This gap over here has been filled, which is where price is it's showing a bullish run. However, here's an interesting thing. Over the weekend, I've seen a lot of people that have been saying, they made memes about it. It's mostly memes, but you know, memes with intent. A lot of people are saying that they're gonna buy gold as soon as the market opens. Literally as soon as the market opens, that's where they're gonna be buying gold. I don't know how that's a good idea, because the market makers, the hedge funds, the institutions, they don't want you to make money. Remember that. They don't want you to make money. They're always looking to take your money. So if you're going to actually think about it in detail, you're going to realize that when everybody is saying, I'm going to buy gold because of war, remember, everybody is saying, I'm going to buy gold because of war, that is probably a good time to not buy gold, and probably an even better time to look for shorts. Why am I saying this? For one of two reasons. One, price never does what you expect. Price always likes to fake out. It always likes to trick people. Trading is not easy. It is not a get rich quick thing. It requires a lot of logic. It requires a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of patience to become a strong and successful trader. If war happens and everyone is saying buy, 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 that is precisely where price is going to go down. If everybody is saying I'm going to be buying gold, think about it. What's the percentage of profitable traders in the world? It's only 5%. 95% of traders lose money. So if you have the whole entire world spreading these rumors throughout social media saying, war broke out in the Middle East, I'm going to buy gold as soon as the market opens up. Buy, 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 buy. Now when that happens, you got 95% of the traders, they're all sitting to buy. Now, the 5% profitable traders, they already know that the whole world is buying because they believe this idea. The idea that just because war broke out, price is going to go up. No. Logic does not work that way. Logically, if everybody is going in the same direction, the market does the opposite. So you saw people say they'll look for short on gold during the weekend. If you saw people who said to short for gold during the weekend, then you are following the right people. You are looking at the right people. You're looking at portfolios, or you're listening to right, like mentors, the guiders, people who are trading. You're listening to the right influencers. Because a lot of people, instead, I've seen throughout social media feed, all I got to do was day trader XAU. I just searched it on social media. Everybody is just charting their charts and they're saying buy, 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 buy. I see a lot of indicators. I see a lot of volume profile. I see a lot of anything, a lot of rainbow colored charts, and everybody is saying buy. I understand. I mean, the logic makes sense, right? You go and you see, if you look at the charts, you'll see price always goes up during war. It's a given, which is why there was a gap. Price opened up on Monday, there was a gap, and price went higher and higher, and it came down, filled the gap a little bit, and it went even higher. Rejected, relative equal high, rejected, price came down. I believe that gold is going to go down only because everybody is thinking about buying. Everyone is pretty sold and confident with the idea that they need to go ahead and buy gold. But instead, price does not reward people who are impulsive. It instead rewards people who are patient. It instead rewards people who use patience as a discipline, because as you can see over here, you can see it on my trading app over here. Hold on, trying to bring it up. Hey, hold on. So when price comes down, you need to be looking for shorts, because I'd strongly advise against going with the crowd. Everybody wants to buy, but I don't think it's going to go up. Gold is still going to go up as a safe haven asset. Absolutely, it's going to go up as a safe haven asset if the war is still active and is still aggressively pushing the price higher. The more intense the war gets, the higher price will go. But it's been kind of quiet right now, and price is already overbought. So right now it is definitely going to be looking for, it's looking to go down. You could see the structure shift already on the 15-minute time frame with the imbalances that gets filled, and price is probably going to go lower from there. If you go on a 30-minute time frame as well, there's an imbalance, price gets filled, and it's trying to go lower. You go on a 1-hour time frame, there's an imbalance, price gets filled, and it's trying to go lower from here. If you go on a 4-hour time frame, there's an imbalance, price gets filled, it might continue going lower. However, there is no confirmation as of yet. Technically, yesterday, speculation. Today, we are also speculating. We got to see what is happening in the world before we make any form of assessments. We simply just need to see what is going on in the world and why is price behaving in the way that it is. Now, that is your analysis on gold. And let's take a look at the stock market real quick. Stock market looks like it's still in some sort of consolidation. I mean, it's still in the consolidation box overall, but it pushed higher last week. And then since the start of the war, as you can see, price has gone up, and now it's rejecting, and it's going to be going lower. The stock market wants to go lower, guys. It cannot handle staying higher. It simply cannot. It is definitely going to aim lower, because when war breaks out, the stock market goes down, and it's been in a consolidation for quite some time. I mean, this is a very long time it's been in consolidation. So price is definitely going to be aiming to go lower, which is why a lot of traders are putting their money in Bitcoin. All right, so same thing with Euro USD. As you can see, price is still trying to go lower because of war. I was bullish over here simply because it was rejected. I mean, if anyone did end up taking this trade, I'm sure a lot of people did. You could see that price has consolidated ever since the war, and it's just gone down completely. So an invalid setup. Let's see any other setups. Nothing of interest right now. Euro Canadian dollar does look good though. Does look like it's going to be bullish from here. So Euro GBP, sorry. All right, so coming back, let's take a look. Let's take a look at news. So yeah, you're right to say that people who are looking to short gold, so that's definitely a good idea. You definitely wanna like people who are looking to short gold. It's a smart idea. It's not a bad idea to short gold. I'm having a bit of an issue with my browser, so let me just refresh it. Add a little browser update, so I gotta just take care of that. We've got a lot gonna be happening in the market these days. All right, so let's take a look at the market. Looks like I'm having some technical difficulties with my browser. Browser is refusing to pull up. All right, so let's just leave it for now. I'll read out the news. So let's see, war broke out. So we're gonna be looking for price to go higher for gold and Bitcoin to go lower. However, instead, Bitcoin went higher, which is the first time since the history of Bitcoin where war broke out and price instead has done this, where it's gone down from 65K all the way up to 70K within an hour. Within 1 hour, Bitcoin has just gone completely higher. So that is a clear indication that maybe perhaps we're probably looking at a new cycle of like it's a new system. So it's very interesting to see that. This is a very healthy sign that Bitcoin is probably on its way to becoming a risk asset. So um, super interesting. I think it's really awesome, and hopefully it stays that way. Because we want to see Bitcoin become a risk asset. Because if Bitcoin becomes a risk asset, what happens after, which is the most important part, is that then price is going to end up going all the way up to even $1 million if it's confirmed as a risk asset. So yeah, I think I got it working. So if it becomes a risk asset, then you could safely say that price is definitely going to go higher. So that's what we want to see for Bitcoin, because then it's just going to be a safe haven, just like gold. But I'm pretty sure that it's eventually going to go that way, because a lot of there's a lot of chatter about the U.S. government. They want to implement the system of CBDC, which is central bank digital currency, where all of us put together are going to be using cryptocurrency as a means to exchange. I mean, we're probably going to be running out of fiat currency, so we're probably going to be looking at cryptocurrency. So let's take a look at the news. You could see over here, we've got on Tuesday, we've got the annual budget release for GBP, but nothing interesting going on for the US dollar. It's just the GBP. The US dollar seems stable. There's only yellow folders, which are not important. We do have the non-farm employment change on Wednesday tomorrow, and the ISM services, which is going to be moving the markets. You're going to see that for the next for 2 whole hours, there's going to be a lot of liquidity being injected in the market. I definitely won't be trading at this period, so I wouldn't advise anybody to do that. And then Thursday, we've got unemployment claims, which is important. And the most important of all time is the non-farm employment change. That is really important because it's the first, it always comes on the first Friday, always. So it is always on the first Friday. And since this is always on the first Friday, you can clearly see that price is going to go pretty aggressive up in this area. Now, gold's still going to go up as a safe haven asset. Yeah, gold is always going to go up as a safe haven. No matter what, gold is always going to go higher. It's not going to go any lower. Gold is for throughout history, it's always been a safe haven asset. So let's see what's going on in the market. You could see that there is a lot of news over here. Trending is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is definitely trending. I could say that with full confidence. Bitcoin is definitely trending. World Mobile Token and Falcon Finance, Solana, XRP, Ethereum. So obviously Bitcoin is the king of all. So once that goes higher, everything else is going to go higher with it. So that's what's going on with Bitcoin. And then you could see over here the global news. Americans aid Israel conducted a raid. So there's a raid going on with Israel. They're targeting Lebanon, and they're also targeting the Iranians. So there's a lot of drone fighting in the Middle East. Seems like it's pretty intense. Evacuation orders throughout Lebanon. Taiwan's economy can guarantee continued gas supply. Taiwan will turn to U.S. and Australia. The U.S. military intercepted an Iranian drone. Okay, so as you guys can see, there's a lot going on in terms of war. You'll see that Iran is pretty much in the headlines. Drone attacks. I mean, there's a lot of drone attacks going on. Now, drone attacks for me, it's not quite the escalation, only because I don't think drone attacks is like a serious direct hit. I think drone attacks are pretty light, pretty simple. So let's see what else is there. So new chat GPT predicts the price of XRP, Solana should end by the end of as war news creates global shockwaves. Crypto is staying remarkably resilient. ChatGPT predicts tidy gains for the 3 best altcoins. Bitcoin and World War III key indicators as Bitcoin eyes global liquidity surge, which is very interesting. So crypto, Iran war, and oil price geopolitical shock could delay the crypto bull run. Yes, I agree that it could delay the crypto bull run. However, there is a bull run already in place. I mean, we are already in place. Bitcoin high stakes March 120K forecast meet the 60-70 accumulation grants. Yes, I agree. We definitely have been in accumulation. So as you can see with price, if we go on the 4-hour time frame, you could see, I'm going to stretch it out just a little bit so you can see we've been in a consolidation box for quite some time. As you can see, consolidation. This is a clear sign of accumulation. This is clearly a huge sign of accumulation. Price is not going higher. It's just collecting liquidity, not just once, but twice and 3 times. So that's what I think has been happening as well. So this article is definitely something that I believe. So crypto market today, Cardano gains. So you're going to see a lot of things that are gaining. Cardano gains 3.4% as Bitcoin rally. And as you can see, also Bitcoin rally lifts altcoins. This is what I've been saying for quite some time. Every time that Bitcoin goes higher, it carries all the other coins, the altcoins, the meme coins, the main coins. Everything gets higher, goes higher with it. You can also see that Pi holds this particular price. Pancake swap goes up 4.65. AVE surges 7%, which is really nice. So a lot of things are going higher simply because of the bull run. So that's all you need to see for the news. Not much is happening right now. So overall, if we're going to be looking at Bitcoin is overall bullish. It's probably going to come down for a liquidity pickup, and it's going to go down to the 4-hour short-term lower high, I believe, because this is precisely where price dumped, and then it gets taken out 50% point of the candle, and then it gets respected, price comes back down, and it exactly comes into 50% again for this candle. It's a clean 50%. So I believe price is probably going to come back down over here, or even this lower high that gets taken out. These are two levels of areas where I believe price is going to come back down to, fill it, and then go even higher. So I have a strong opinion on that. This is a good entry place right here for our short-term lower high, which is marked at 67,619, but definitely at 66,729. Absolutely, this is the most confident trade I have over here. And yeah, that's what's happening. Let's see if I could just open Yeah, so there we go. BitChin, one of my favorite brokers, to be honest. From all the exchanges I've had, I'm super happy with this exchange. They have like the cleanest UI. Honestly, the UI is very impressive. Price responds very efficiently. I enter and exit the market instantly. It doesn't even require a KYC, which is pretty cool. So leverage is pretty cool. They've got futures platform, so that's also what I'm using, and you could also buy crypto with 0% fees. So it's pretty sweet. So yeah, price came down, filled this imbalance over here, and it's just gone higher ever since. There are rejections over here, which is showing that these relative equal highs, it's going to be a bit of a struggle to push higher from here. But I do believe and expect price is going to go higher from here. It just needs to rebalance before aiming higher. So I plan on holding this trade. I plan on holding it, like I'm hodling it, as they call it. HODL. I'm hodling this trade. I don't feel like, I was just thinking about it, I don't think I'm going to be taking partials. I think I'm just going to hold it. In fact, if it retraces, I'm going to be adding smaller trades to it. So I'm not precisely going to be closing the trade. I'm just going to be holding on to the trade, because a lot could happen in this time period. And in this particular time, it looks like price is struggling to go lower, because it's overall bullish. Hell yeah. Really clean trade. So I've had a buy trade over here, and I've taken partials over here, and then I closed the trade completely over here. So then I entered over here, bought it at 63,556. So 63,556 right there. Inbounds fill at the 50% point, and it's just gone up. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who's in this trade. I'm pretty sure there's quite some people who are in this trade as well. Super excited about that. And for the time being, guys, if you want to learn how to take these simple trades, just join our Discord. Our Discord, it has quite some few people. You're going to be able to see, you're going to be able to get connected with other traders who are actually interested in what's going on in the world. You're going to see that, this is our Discord over here. You're going to be seeing that it's got quite a few community members who are growing quite rapidly. People are sharing their results. We're talking about a lot of trades, and it's got a lot of active traders. That's what for sure. And people are just asking questions, and I reply to them. I sometimes someone didn't take a stop loss, as someone over here said not to enter, didn't listen, and this person over here didn't add a stop loss. So I actually made a video about stop losses inspired by traders who were struggling with something. So I kind of create content based on what you guys are sharing. So besides that, also there will be VIP classes where you're going to be getting a masterclass on how to trade institutional levels, and you'll unlock the full access, and you'll be able to access our ebook where you're going to be able to study how to read the charts the proper way. So there's plenty of analysis I'll be posting with some signals, but these signals are long-term signals. They're not scalp signals. So posting every single day, putting some analysis, putting some information, also talking about what's going on with the world, especially with geopolitics. Since I'm a political graduate, I tend to talk a lot about politics. So use the QR code right over there. Get connected with us, ask me questions, learn how to trade the proper way, guys. Don't waste your time on meaningless paid courses from mentors who don't even interact with you. They end up having like some sort of sales team agent talking to you or a bot talking to you. Doesn't work that way over here. I consistently trade every single day, and I share my results, and I talk to people, and you can talk to me as well at any given time. So I'm about to wrap it up, and yeah, this is what's going on with Bitcoin, guys. I have the cleanest entry over here. It came through because I followed my rules. I did not impulsively enter. I just simply respected the rules. Market structure shift with an imbalance that was left behind. With an imbalance that's left behind, I need to go on the lower time frame and see if there's an inverse fair value gap that was created after filling the higher time frame imbalance. Since I did see that, price got my limit order got entered. I've entered the trade. I've held it. I've set it. I've forgotten about it. I placed my stop loss right below. But since we're all the way up here, I move my stop loss to 0. So now it's a risk-free zero, like a zero risk trade. So absolutely feeling confident about that. Not worried about anything else. So that is my overall view on Bitcoin and gold. Should you guys have any other questions about the markets, if you have questions about war and how to trade during the period of war, because we're already in one of the hardest trading sessions in the world. Like, we are literally at a point where trading right now, it's already very hard because price doesn't react. We're in a period where price doesn't react to technical analysis. For the last year, we've been completely trading based off of fundamentals. And I'm a fundamental trader and also a technical trader. I mix both of them together, and also a political science graduate. So with that combined, I change the trades and the logic behind these trades, and I react based on the global news. So you wouldn't have to worry about fundamentals because I'll be directly telling you what is happening in the world. So something to consider, you guys. Be part of the community, get connected with me, and we'll do this again tomorrow. I'll see you guys later.